Hey guys, Eric here. Today I'm coming at you with a new problem, and I got a new mic. Hopefully this mic works pretty good. I think this will be better if I'm doing high up installs or anything like that. Any issues that are happening high up, at least when I'm up on a ladder, it should be easier to hear me because the mic's here. Hopefully that works out. Anyway, let me tell you guys what the issue is today, and then we'll get started, and it has to do with ceiling fans. So that's the ceiling fan in our master bedroom right now. And it's been in here since we moved into the house, and I've actually never been up there to look at the wiring or anything like that. So I don't actually know if it's even installed properly. But we're gonna take a look at that because we are having an issue with it. The issue that we're having with it right now is actually that light up there. Let me show you again. That light right there at the bottom, there's actually two different lights on it, but that light at the bottom keeps randomly turning on and off. And there could be a couple different causes for this. So one cause could be faulty wiring. Could be wiring just going bad. Could be something like that. Since there is a remote for this fan, it also could be something interfering with that remote signal, and that could be causing the light to go on and off. Now, the reason why I don't necessarily think it's the remote signal is because the fan itself is not turning on and off. It's just that bottom light. That leads me to believe that this could be a faulty wiring issue. So we're gonna go ahead and go up there, take a look at what the wiring situation is, and we're gonna see if we can fix that. So while I'm up there, this is what I'm gonna use first. This is one of the things I'm gonna use to see if we can fix this issue. This is a Yuki Hollow, I think that's how you pronounce it, Yuki Hollow ceiling fan remote control kit. Now this has a remote in it as well as a receiver that you can wire up directly to your fan. So we're gonna replace the receiver that's up there, and we're gonna use the new remote, and hopefully that takes care of the issue. We're also gonna do something else with the wiring that I'm gonna show you in a second. But a couple things that I wanna say about this. This is purchasable on Amazon, super cheap. I believe it's $14.99 or something like that. Really cheap on Amazon. If I look up there against the ceiling, it doesn't look like I have much space up there for a receiver, so I got this one, which has a pretty small receiver. Hopefully that works out. But what you can also use this for is you can use this to make an older fan that's doesn't currently have a remote setup, to make it have a remote setup. So that's pretty cool. These are really easy to wire. I've wired up a number of them at this point. So we're gonna go ahead and install this, but at the same time, we're gonna double check the wiring that's up there, and I'm gonna replace a couple things as far as the wiring goes, and I'll show you what that is. Since we are dealing with a potential wiring issue, I wanna make sure the wiring up there is pretty secure and pretty solid. So in order to do that, you've seen me use in the past wire nets, which are those little twisty things that connect two wires together. I've since been using these for all of my jobs instead. This isn't a sponsored video or anything like that, but these are called Wago lever nets. These are a more secure way to connect two wires together, or even multiple wires together. I really like these. They're super reliable, and I'll show you exactly how they work. Basically, here's one that will connect two wires together. If I can get it to focus right there. That'll connect two wires together. Basically, you can lift the ends of these, and you put, there we go, one wire into each side, and then you press the lever down, and it secures the wires in place. These are super reliable. I find them way more reliable than standard wire nets that you just twist together. It's pretty much guaranteed that what's up on that fan right now is standard twist wire nuts. So we're gonna replace those with this, and hopefully that'll fix the wiring issue and this light going on and off issue that we're having. Either way, let's get started on this project, and let's take a look at what the wiring looks like up there right now. All right, let's rotate that out of the way. And we're gonna need to move the ladder a little bit closer so we can take a look at what's happening. All right, let me move you guys to a better spot. All right, let's see what we got up here. All right. So I do see the remote receiver and a bunch of wire nuts, and I'll bring the camera up here so you guys can take a look at what's happening. One thing I always need to say whenever you're dealing with wiring like this, whether it's in the walls or in the ceiling or anywhere in your house, you want to make sure the power is off to the area that you're working on. That way there's no risk of getting shocked or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get the power off, and then I'll show you guys what the wiring looks like up there. All right, I'm gonna bring you guys up there and you can see what exactly we're working with. So this is the wiring situation as it stands right now. And so these greens and this naked wire, that's ground, green for ground. This is just the antenna for the existing remote. This little black box right here, this is the existing remote receiver, and that's what we're gonna be removing. There's quite a few wires coming out of it. Now that we have the power off, we're just gonna remove all of these wire nuts, and because we're gonna replace them anyway. So we'll start with the ground and we'll just turn these counterclockwise, and we'll get everything removed so that we can remove that box itself. Some black wires over here. This looks like a lot of wires, but once you get everything kind of worked out, you'll see it's actually not too bad. Okay. Quite a few wire nuts here. I'm glad we're going to be replacing all of this. And now, so this is the former remote box that was in there. This is what we're actually going to be replacing. And yeah, let's take a look at the new one. All right, so here's the old remote box. These wires are actually pretty clearly labeled, which is nice. But just in case this box is faulty, that's what we're going to replace. So let's take a look at the new one here. So here's the new remote box, and you can see it's actually a little smaller than this one, which is good, but it should slide right up there. At least I hope. This one, the wires are pretty clearly labeled as well, so that's really good. What you're mainly looking for here is you've got an input wire, you've got two input wires here, and then you've got some output wires, a blue, and you've got a yellow. This yellow is just the antenna, so this matches up with this one here. And so you've got a white and a black in, you've got a white, a black, and a blue out. And if you look at the old one, you've got a white and a black in, and then you've got a white, black, and a blue out. This one also has, oh, because there's two lights up there, there's an upper light wire. We don't need to worry about that because we only want to control really just one of the lights. So I don't need both lights on, or I can wire them all together so both lights work all at the same time, which is probably what I'm gonna do, just to keep everything operating correctly. So let's go ahead and put this up there. Realistically speaking, I'm gonna need two hands for this, so it's gonna be hard for me to hold the camera up there while I'm also installing this box. But as I get each wire connected, I will show you guys what it looks like up there so you have a clear picture of how to wire this yourself. All right, let me show you guys what the grounds look like, just so you have an idea of how these lever nuts work. So right there, you'll see, got the lever nut, we've got all three grounds going together, so that connects everything together. So we're basically gonna do the same thing for each of the wires, and we're gonna make sure that the box itself is actually wired in between as well. So let's go ahead and take care of that. The next part that we have to wire is going to be the white and the black wires coming out of the ceiling, and we're going to wire those directly to our box. Alright, so if you look right here, I've got my black and whites connected to the inputs of the remote box. These are coming out of the ceiling, and I've got 2 lever nuts there. Now it's time to deal with the other side. These are the outputs. All right, I've got the wiring done up there. Let me go ahead and bring you up and I'll show you guys what's going on. So I know it looks like a little bit of a mess up here, but it's pretty easy to understand. I've got the greens for grounds that I showed earlier. I've got the blacks matched up here. I've got the whites matched up here. Those are the outputs from the remote. These are the 2 inputs coming out of the ceiling. Black again matched to black and white matched to white. And then going down to the fan, we've got this blue output from the remote box. That's for the lighting control. And then you've got green and reds. These are for the 2 lights on the fan itself. 1 light up here and then 1 light down here. I've wired them all together because I want them all controlled with the same remote button. And this is the yellow antenna right here. Now the only thing we got to do is we got to kind of organize these wires into place. I'll slide the remote box right here and we'll get everything buttoned up and we'll turn the power on and make sure everything works. All right guys, so we've just completed and turned the power back on for our new remote setup for our ceiling fan in the master bedroom. So we're going to test it out right now. I have the new remote right here and there's the fan. So let's first test out the light. There we go. And you see both lights turn on. That's exactly what I wanted. Now let's test out the fan portion. This is high, and we'll just make sure it spins pretty quickly just to make sure the remote is operating correctly. Turn the light on at the same time. So that should get going pretty fast. It's a decent sized fan, so it takes a little bit of time to get up to speed. But it does look like it's going pretty fast. That's good. We'll change it to low. And we'll just make sure that it swaps to a lower speed. And we should see it starting to slow down, and it looks like it is. That's great. And then we'll just hit stop and make sure it turns off. And yeah, slowing down and turning off. So it looks like the installation went well. We've got the remote here that came with our new remote assembly, this one. It's got a little wall plate here that we can install, and then you can just slide your remote right in there. Oh, I'm sorry, that's upside down. Slide it just like that, so it holds it in place, and you can have it on next to your light switch or anything like that. Really easy to do. So this is a Yuki Hollow. I'll put a link to this, the Amazon link to this down in the description below. I will also put an Amazon link to this kit. This is the Wago lever nut kit that I like using. This is a super versatile kit. You saw me do it up there. I feel a lot safer. I feel like the wiring is a lot safer up there. So pretty happy with this installation, and hopefully this fixes the issue with the light coming on and off. If it doesn't fix the issue, I'll go ahead and update you guys, but the wiring's better now. The remote receiver's been replaced with a brand new one, so everything should be good. I want to thank you guys again for joining me for this video, and if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. Till then, thank you for joining me for another problem solved.